Hello everyone, welcome to a special Outlook Business webinar series titled Strat Talk, presented by Hyperlink Infosystem and co-sponsored by RR Solution. And the topic under discussion today is realigning to the new normal. We are kicking off the series with Mr. Rahul Kumar, a dairy industry veteran with more than 25 years of experience across the value chain of an industry which deals with an everyday commodity but yet is complex in its operations. Mr. Kumar currently heads the Indian operations of French dairy major Lactalis. Welcome, Mr. Kumar. So, can you give us a sense of what's the challenge that this dairy sector has gone through in this couple of months when the pandemic had really shaken just about every part of the economy?
Dairy industry as such has demonstrated very well in terms of, because you have read lot of news and seen lot of news in media. Not a single news has come that because of the COVID and because of the so much crisis, because of the destruction of demand and disruption in the supply chain, the farmers have poured their milk in the field, or there is a demonstration and there is a big issue in some part of the country where milk is thrown and it is spoiled and all this thing. I think that was a very good performance by entire dairy sector. I'm not just naming any particular company. I'm talking about everybody, in that supply chain. And supply chain involves a driver, cleaner, from village to plant, and the plant to market, and reverse logistic, and all those things. So that way, in spite of a lot of pressure, a lot of hurdles, lot of uncertainty, dairy sector was quite well. They performed quite well. The only issue what I see, because that is also important, I'm talking about from a business point of view, that when you have same amount of milk to be collected, but you have no demand, demand destruction is there, then you are making commodities, and commodities making means you are in building of inventories. Okay, and building of inventories at the time where your inventories are not disposed of in coming 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and still you don't have visibility that when this crisis will end. Like April, when we were thinking, okay, let's make the commodity, because by June it will be over, and the market will be open, everything will be, Horeca segment will be open, and B2B will be open, so everything will be okay. Now April, we kept on accepting the milk. May, June, now people are talking that whether we have not even, we don't even know when is the peak, whether it's in September, October, or we are in the peak. I don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. So you are doing business in lot of uncertainty, because you have to pay farmer every day. Every day means regularly you have to pay. Like all the dairies, they pay farmer 3 times in a month. First 11 and 21st. So we have not stopped payment to the farmers. We have to pay them, because until we pay them, they will not be able to feed the cattle, and the cattle will not give the milk. So that is a cycle. But there is a problem. So India is now having a lot of stocks of SMP, which is called skim milk powder, because all the dairies are making that, and including butter, which is a byproduct of when you have milk and you make SMP, then you make butter. So every month India is adding about 40,000 tons of SMP, in our global stock in the country, as well as about 15,000 tons of butter per month. So this is creating pressure in terms of liquidity of the company, dairy companies, and working capital, and this is perhaps would be a little bit more tough if the things are not improving very fast, because it cannot keep continuing. So till date it is okay. It was managed. But I think if it continues for next 3, 4, 5 months without any visibility, it will be difficult for dairies to continue, and I think this will be a tough time.
So we'll continue with this with Mr. Kumar. We'll just take a short break. Welcome back, Mr. Kumar. Just wanted to understand, like you said, that while you were preemptive in understanding that this pandemic is going to hit India as well, and you took your enough precautions, but the demand destruction that eventually played out, and now that you're saying that it has, now since there is no visibility on where exactly this will end, how are you kind of navigating your way through this now? Like in the dairy business, they say it's the procurement is one part of it, distribution and product. If you get this 3 mixed together correctly, that kind of sets the ball rolling. But right now here you have only one part of the thing that is really continuing well, and that's procurement. So in procurement, have you been able to kind of say, because you are procuring but there is no demand, obviously prices would have come down. So are you kind of having a gain in that sense that procurement prices are coming down, and so even as demand is coming off, at some sense
Yeah,
you are
yeah,
having
you're
relative
right.
cushion in terms of price?
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because if again I have to go a little bit back to understand this point. See, in 2018, India was having huge stocks of SMP, in stocks, and it is cyclic in nature. Sometimes every 4 years there is a huge stock, and after that all this thing. So because of very huge stocks, the milk prices to the farmers were very low, because
Right.
nobody wanted to collect the milk to make SMP, because both them, domestically as well international, the prices are very low. Okay, so in 2018 the situation was totally different what it was there in 2019. So when you have very high stock of the SMP and people are not able to take the milk because they don't want to make SMP, then the prices they go down, because farmers have to sell that somewhere. So this basically goes to all the cooperatives where they take all the milk, and even private also, even if they take the milk, they have to understand the economics and they take a lower price. Okay, this is one aspect, which is kind of a demand supply kind of thing. But inherent technically what happens in dairy business, that if you give lower price to the farmer, he is not able to feed the animal properly. And in dairy business, or and especially in milk production, the feed is very important for milk production in terms of economics of the milk production, because
Right.
60% of the cost of milk production is only feed cost. what
Okay.
what farmer feeds to his animal. But suppose if he is getting very low price or not the appropriate price of his milk, then what he can do is very obvious: he will cut the feed,
Feed. Right.
because he has not got the income to feed the cow. And the farmers in India, the farmers are very poor. They are at very marginal or small farmers who are associated with dairy business. All the dairy business is mainly done by the very low land holding farmers or landless farmers in India. So they are not very rich farmers. For them, the dairy is the only source of income. So when this happens, then what happens, that is the first of all, the two negative effect of that aspect, when the farmers price is very low. First is that he cuts the feed, which basically influences the basic metabolism of the cow or buffalo, and it deteriorates the yield of the animal. So in terms of milk production, also her body is not capable to take the next time pregnancy and calving. So this delays the milk production also, because the cow or buffalo will not able to will not get pregnated. So this is a problem. And second is that when you don't have this proper income to the farmer also does not invest for the new animals, because he's not sure whether I will get. So basically investment. I'm talking,
Right.
one is technical aspect of milk production. Second, the investment is a business aspect of that. So in both cases, that people have not invested, and there were a yield problem and milk production problem immediately after 2019 first quarter, because the
Right.
SMP stocks what was there, it was almost over, and the government has given a lot of subsidy to export the powder, because there was a huge quantity of powder available in the market. So from both the angle, the powder stocks went down considerably. It was almost nil after first quarter. And the milk prices suddenly they shoot up by 35%.
Right.
So in 2018 the milk prices were 20 rupees, or 20, 22, 23 rupees in Maharashtra. I take the example, they went up to 31 rupees.
Right.
So January 2018, the milk prices in Maharashtra was 21, 22 rupees, and then government of Maharashtra was giving some subsidy to the farmers because it was so low. It went up to 18 rupees. And January 2020, if you say our milk prices were 31 rupees because of this what I explained you. So it was, I would say, exponentially high in the month of January. Nobody was aware that COVID will come, but we were facing a lot of issues in terms of milk production, which has happened very less in 2019, which is the reason I have told you. And to that extent that even in the flush season, what in milk we have got lean season and flush season is basically in India because of more buffalo milk and climate. It starts from October till Feb. This is which is winter month. Okay, so in 2019 winter there was not a good milk production even in the flush season, and because of that our SMP prices in India domestic they went up to 330 rupees a kilo, which was 1 year back it was 140 rupees a kilo. So it was almost double. So this kind of dynamics, we have to understand the way dairy business is running. So till Feb 2020 the SMP prices were 300 plus rupees a kilo because nobody was aware about the COVID crisis. As soon as COVID crisis started, the demand crashed by 30-35%, and this is the demand of, I'm talking about the dairy sector. Dairy sector means organized sector, which is only 30% of the total milk collection. We have to also understand how much milk goes from unorganized sector from rural to urban, like for all the sweet makers, all the mithai walas, all the other informal system. What you have huge paneer in Delhi market, where it is not branded but it is coming from nearby villages and all this thing. This all put together, a lot of milk has becoming extra, and those milk also started coming to the dairies, those who are having plans to run the plant to make powder and butter. So now if you see that in say about, if I say first Feb 2020 SMP prices were 300 rupees plus and butter prices were almost 300 rupees plus. If you take the price on 1st of May, the SMP prices have gone to about 220 rupees. So about 25% reduction. And same with the butter. So this is bound to create problem for the farmers price, milk price. So as the commodity prices have gone down by more than 25%, the farmer prices have also gone down by ranging from state to state from 15% to 25%.
Right.
Okay. So but it has not helped anything in terms of dairies to, okay, you can say that some of the milk, all the milk is not being converted into commodity. So rest, like nobody has reduced the butter rate or cheese rate or even milk rate. So up to that extent, the business will be coming to the track, because it was totally out of track before COVID, because all the dairy companies were making huge losses, I would say. If forget about the profit, in terms of profitability was very bad, and you can track that when you see the first quarter result of the dairy companies in India. You will find that they are doing very bad. But perhaps this will improve because of that, because still some profitability has improved because of milk prices have gone down, but retail prices have not but that is also please try to understand. Sometimes what happens when you have a lot of reduction in the milk prices, then you have to give lot of trade schemes and behind this this thing selling, because all competitors they want to sell more, because they cannot make, they don't want to make commodity. So in a market all the prices are same at the consumer level. Below that there is a lot of competition, to which is basically goes to trade. But okay, this is our very detailed kind of explanation. But you're right that this is certainly going to help to make the profitability level better. So if you will compare first quarter and second quarter, which is almost there now, okay, January, February, March is the last quarter of the last financial year, and March, April, April, May, June is the next quarter, you'll find big difference in the profitability. Apart from that, a lot of stocks are lying with the dairy company. So that is also there. But in spite of that, they will have better profitability, for the reason you are asking, that retail prices have not been reduced.
Okay. We'll continue with the conversation with Mr. Kumar. We'll just take a short break.
RR Gifting for memorable brands. Call now.
So give me a sense of where did Lactalis end FY20, and what is your assessment for the coming year in terms of growth, revenue, and profitability? How has it been for Lactalis? Can you give us a sense of that?
Okay. So first of all, we have our financial year from January to December.
Okay. So calendar.
Okay, calendar year, but for Indian operation, we have to do the Indian financial year. So this year we have closed about our total turnover of the three companies. It's close to about 430 million euro. So if you just multiply it by 80 rupees, you will come to know in the 1,000 crores. As far as profitability is concerned, as I said you that this was very bad year, 2019. Very bad year because of the milk prices shoot up like anything. So we don't disclose our profitability results in very specifically, but just to give the idea that our profitability, whatever profitability we're maintaining, which are close to, let me tell you about, say about 7-8% of EBITDA level. It is at least deducted by 2 to 3 points, in 2019 for Indian financial year, if I take that. This will happen to all the companies, basically, because we are on the same boat.
Right.
But that is gone. That is gone. My major point to share with you is that how we are able to use this or try to see this crisis as for the opportunity in terms of the one approach was there, like you have a crisis, the market are closed, the demand has gone, so what to do and all this thing. But our point was that we are handling 15% more milk than what we were handling before crisis. Okay. And in spite of the demand, which is 35% lower, so we are having a lot of milk available with us, and we are making a lot of commodity. But what we thought as a company here, how to how to face this crisis, and what is the lying opportunity behind it. So we have really worked very hard, and team has worked very hard. Apart from running the routine business, is basically try to improve our distribution. Like okay, demand is low, but because we are selling to certain geography, certain market, or even certain areas of a certain market, because we are present in all across country, where we are selling milk in Bombay also, and we are selling milk in Ghaziabad also, and Indore, Bhopal also, and Rajamundry, and Bangalore, and Hyderabad, and Coimbatore, Madurai, Chennai, Salem Road, everywhere. But perhaps we were not very much focusing to increase the market share by putting more efforts in the distribution expansion, because okay, you are busy in managing your existing market and growing there, so there is no problem. So that's way it happens. But when we got, or everybody has got, a sudden destruction of the demand, we thought that we have to take this opportunity to offset some of the deficit by growing some extra mile, mile, and to create new consumer, and create new distribution network. So we did a lot of efforts in all the three companies to understand where we were not selling. And in COVID crisis, maybe that this is opportunity that you become a brand which is available there, and you are able to distribute the milk as compared to the existing brands which were available there. So perhaps we worked in that approach all across three companies. So that is one. We also thought that this is time where in future, I think this will not be normal to to keep selling the milk the way we are selling milk right now. It's a kind of generic milk. We're talking about only for making tea, coffee, or little bit on buttermilk or curd or lassi. I think the main change will come, which is I think will start come very soon after this crisis is over, is to have a lot of milk which is basically having lot of ingredients which boost your immunity, because immunity will be a very buzzword, and I think it's not only fashion, it will become a kind of our lifestyle. Whether we are talking about immunity, it's not only through milk, but through anything what builds up your immunity. Third thing is also, we thought to have it, that multitasking of the people who are working in the plant, because we saw that one day one village is under lockdown, under quarantine, and the 5 people are coming from that village. They are working in a particular plant, and now we have to run the plant because we are handling more milk. But those people are skilled people, and we don't have anybody else to run the plant. So we started the multitasking of the this I think we realized after 1 month that this is a very big lacuna, where you have a number of persons, but they are not if those 3 persons they don't come, you have risk of not running the plant, and when you don't run the plant, you will not able to handle the milk. So this is all good learnings, I would say, in terms of during the crisis, apart from better control in terms of better monitoring. I think the way that we started working, like I have been working in last 3 months, work from home. Everybody is working from home except plant people and all these things. So perhaps this communication has become more direct and more routine and more regular and more frequent. So suppose meeting is there, so I'm also maybe some time I'm also part of the meeting with our plant managers. So I'm talking to my plant manager. I have 11 13 plants in India, so I am also directly connected with them, which normally it was not the case, because whenever I used to go to some city and some company and see the plant, then I used to meet the plant manager or by some other platform. So I think the people have come more closer in terms of communication, and because this virtual platform has removed the limitation of this hierarchy. So you have 15 people. So I'm also sitting, my industrial director is also there, but lower level 15 plant managers also there, and we are talking. So the way we are interacting with the people, and perhaps we have become more responsive and more reactive during this crisis, that we want to know that if they need any help, and we should be there to help them, because perhaps we become more kind of protection about all these things. So these are the very good things which has we have come out during this crisis.
So you are talking about new opportunities emerging out of the crisis. So anything specific that Lactalis is working on, like you're saying, any collaborative thing, or is that are you working with any pharma company, or are you working in-house to create some kind of an immunity kind of a product, either for children or for adults? Can you give us a sense of what is the
yeah, so this has become more I would say emphasized, like just before the crisis, we have launched one product which was very dedicated for kids, and this product was, we called it Champ Up, which was basically calcium and vitamin D, because in India you will be surprised to know that majority of the people are deficit in vitamin D. And vitamin D basically comes from sunlight, and we have a huge sunlight as compared to the Western countries. Okay, but still we have a problem of vitamin D, and same is with the calcium. And calcium cannot be absorbed without vitamin D. So if you have a problem of vitamin D in your body, then your calcium absorption will not be there from whatever sources you take calcium. It's milk and cheese and maybe some other food items. And because of that, you will find a huge cases of bone related problem, arthritis and all this thing, which is happening at very young age. This is one of the reasons. So we designed this product and we launched it, and still because the crisis came, it is a bit disturbed. But this is a product. Then we are working on the product which is basically coming to the same kind of thing. That is, we have another problem in our Indian women is that they are lacking of iron. Okay, and iron is basically, we are talking about, when you talk about the medical terminology, less hemoglobin.
Right.
Okay, so hemoglobin level should be 12% or 11% minimum. Minimum it should be at least 14%. But you take any women, especially the middle social income and all, it will be as bad as 7%, 8%. So
Right.
we are already working, and I think it will be coming very soon, the iron rich milk.
Okay.
So what I mean to say that this is the way we've already started working. Now coming to the immunity kind of build up, I would say that any milk is immunity builder, any milk product. So we are coming with the yogurt, which is first time in India, in terms of from Lactalis company, and we at global level, there are some products which are they're under development, where they are talking about to have better immunity and all these things. So we'll come to know as things go. But in India level, we are already working on these kind of products.
Right. So in terms of growth for the coming year, where do you see that coming? Will it be from new product categories or existing? And second thing, will there be more price hikes to make up for the losses that you've seen in the past year? So will we see not just for Lactalis, but broadly all dairy companies coming together in unison to increase prices, or will we see prices where they are for consumers?
So what I believe that prices will be at the same level, because I give the why I'm telling you. See, there was a price hike which was there till Feb. Okay, it was, I told you, 31 rupees or all this. After that, prices are down by 15 to 25, mainly 15%, I would say. So, but we have a lot of commodity built up at the lower price, because prices have gone down, milk prices have gone down. Now, I'm assuming that the crisis will be, someday it will be over. Okay, and that someday may come, maybe in December, maybe in November, maybe January, maybe February. We don't know, but this is the time horizon anybody is taking, because I'm talking about our experience with the rest of the world. See, in China, they started in December, and they were there in lockdown up to March. And after 4 months, I don't think they are totally free, or are still. So I think it's taking about 7 months to become a reasonably comfortable, not fully comfortable. So when they started in December, and they are now saying about they are opening the malls and they're opening the economy and restaurant, blah blah blah. So they took about 7 months, 6 months, 7 months at least. Here we started in April, I would say, 1st April, because on 25th March our number of cases was only 560.
Okay.
And today we have more than 5 lakh. So I think India will take more than 7 months. So when I take more than 7 months, if I started in April, so I think it will go up to December, January. This is what
9 months. Yeah, 9 months is
my analysis is. So I think up to that time the demand would be at lower side. Even the restaurants are open, say by September. I don't think you will be, or I will be able to go to restaurant, at least for next months, and until we are doubly sure. Of course, home deliveries will be there, so it's not that all the business is only on the will be dependent on restaurant. So after that, there will be up to that time there will be a lot of stock of SMP and butter in the country. So perhaps maybe the farmers' price will go up. Okay, because they have crushed. No, they have also crushed by 15 to 20%. Okay, they may go up by 5% or maybe 7-8%. But selling price will not be there, because industry will also still be having lot of commodity which can be used for milk, milk product constitution at lower level. So perhaps this will not be the case in terms of, and perhaps if I see from other angle, when you have a very steep drop in the demand, to regenerate the demand, perhaps it will be logical not to increase the price, let the demand grow up. So that because it is in milk business is a quite direct related, the price versus demand. It's a very very basic items. So maybe that dairies company would try to get more demand than increasing the selling price if the profitability level is okay, maybe reasonably well. So I don't see any price increase at least till next 1 year, or maybe up to May 2021.
I just wanted to understand, like you're saying that till we are talking of next March, and we have seen, especially in the case of Lactalis, that you are the one who have done aggressively grown through acquisitions since your entry in 2014. So, and there were talks before, I think this pandemic broke out, that you are still looking at an acquisition in the north, because you had Tirumala in the south, Anik in the central, and Prabhat in western, and you are looking at north and the eastern. So is there a realignment of strategy, and you're saying that now let's just consolidate what we have rather than going out and acquiring? Or is this a good opportunity where you could have some distressed assets coming your way, and that could further bolster your appetite for acquisition? So how are you weighing the
it's very very important question, a very interesting question. See, you have to see that whatever we are doing, it is being done under certain roadmap and certain strategy. Okay, now the roadmap of Lactalis is that we have to be a very very prominent player in Indian dairy market, because that's the way that they Lactalis looked to this country as a very potential dairy country, because we are the largest producer of the milk as well as largest consumer of the milk, because whatever we produce we consume, and we consume 98% of total milk what we produce, which is nowhere in this world where any country is consuming 98% of the milk, whether it's Europe or Australia or New Zealand. In New Zealand they are exporting 94%, they are consuming only 6%. So this is the country for the future as far dairy is concerned. And Lactalis being a largest dairy group in the world, and only dairy, they don't have any other business. They know that which country or which zone or which continent they have to invest. Point number two, when we want to become a prominent player in this country, what are the options we have? The options are, we either we go for some greenfield projects to invest in this company, or we acquire the company and grow them. Okay, and let me tell you, to be very specific about Lactalis, they are in their business model, acquisition has an important place, where they keep acquiring the company and to the synergy with those companies, and have a lot of synergy effect of the to grow the business. In last 15 years they have acquired about 105 companies, Lactalis as a group in the world. So every year they acquire about 6 to 7 companies. Okay, that's the kind of a business strategy model they have. So their Lactalis approach is that they should get 60 to 65% growth from the existing business, that is organic growth, and 35 or maybe 30% comes from inorganic growth by acquiring the companies, and then after that they keep growing the business in the existing companies. India is no exception, and India is still at a very very low level of business. If you talk about the total business of Lactalis, this is about $22 billion or 20 billion euro. Today we are about, I told you, about 430 million euro. So we are talking about 2%, 2.5% max. So this is not the end. I think this is the beginning. Not to have India should have a good percentage of the turnover of the group, because of the country's population and growth and all these things. So This is point number 2. So point number 3 is that what are options we have? The options we have is that we have both, both options executed very aggressively. One is organic growth as well as inorganic growth. So we will be looking for the acquisition. This is not the end. This is not the end, because this is our company's philosophy, that we keep growing by both organic and inorganic growth. Now coming to your question that when it would be possible, so what I mean to say that we when we acquire a company, it takes some time to stabilize it. The Tirumala took about 1 or 2 years, and then Anik was there, and in between Prabhat came, and we were it's only 1 year, not even 1 year. So we started in April 2019, and in between this COVID came. So it is under integration, what we call it. So it was time to look for another acquisition, and perhaps this is still on. The only thing is that after this crisis, there may be some good acquisitions options, because sometime it happens that some either the company will come very strong, or a company will not be able to come very strong. So if there might be some companies who are not been able to come out from this crisis, and they are maybe they are ready to sell the business. So we will be certainly looking up for those options.
Do you got any proposals to that extent?
No, proposal we have not worked on that, but but always there are options. When I say, see in acquisition, the proposal is not important. The right what you call it, what is the right option is very important. See, somebody comes with a proposal, but perhaps we are not interested in that proposal in terms of the capabilities that company has, or the kind of the business they have, or the kind of transparency in their accounts are there. So these are the very important factors when we evaluate any proposal or any acquisition options. So but there are options, because it's not that nobody wants to sell the dairy business, or they are not interested, but provided see, it's very simple. If somebody gets a better valuation, and is able to sell the company, and he wants to diversify into another business, or maybe some other business, so certainly people sell. That's what acquisition is all about. The main point with the Lactalis is the Lactalis does acquisition of only dairies, because they're only in dairy business. So they will acquire the dairies, and sometimes the dairy companies, those who sell, they go to some other business, non-dairy, or maybe non-food, or maybe some other. So this will happen, and this will keep happening that. But nevertheless, this will be more clear when the crisis is a little bit about to end. And also depends on the group position, because group is also in the presence in 150 countries, and each country is under this crisis. So maybe that Lactalis is very big business in Brazil, and Brazil is one of the worst country today, and they had a very big business. They are the largest dairy company in the Italy, and Italy was a worst country 2 months back, and same with the France. France is the 35% business, but France was very badly hit. Now France is on the track, and the good business is there in US, Lactalis US, and US is still under struggle under that kind of crisis. So maybe that it all depends on what position group takes in terms of their acquisition strategy, because this crisis is really very
it's not a national, it's global crisis.
But overall, it doesn't change the philosophy of or strategy of the company at the global level, at the India level. That's true.
Okay. So we have just got 2 questions from the audience. One is from Harni Loza. He's the founder and CEO of Hyperlink Infosystem. He has a question: for any business after COVID-19, how mobile apps to CRM solutions, and how cloud technologies are taking center stage in a company strategy. So according to you, is there a need or is that the time come for cloud strategies where companies will really look at outsourcing or some of their
No, this is, I think I missed this point. I would have shared this point. See, during this crisis, one is also very important, the way we distribute. The way we distribute our products. And if you see that our traditionally, I told that the milk was basically distributed by traditional channels and through retail shops, home delivery, and all this thing. But lot of experiments, and then all this thing happened during this crisis with the mobile app applications. In terms of even milk deliveries. And because we are also selling milk through some e-commerce platforms in Chennai, in Bangalore, in other parts of the country, and we found a good jump, in terms of direct deliveries from those e-commerce company. So this is also a very important point. I think this will also be today this the milk distribution through this mobile app is hardly, maybe I would say 1 to 2% maximum. But I see within coming 2 to 3 years, or maybe maximum 5 years, it will go up to 10%. Because here, the convenience, the sheer service level, and the way overall it is economical from the entire supply chain point of view. Because if you are going to traditional channel, you supply to some distributor, the distributor goes to retailer, and that retailer maybe supplies to the household, and he also takes some home delivery charges. But if you take this as another channel or another option, perhaps it's a more economical to this thing. And of course, cloud sharing and all this thing, it is already there. But even this is all basically what we are talking about, mobile apps and all will lead to that. But this will have a good expansion and good growth, I would say, in terms of in terms of the way we are selling dairy, because this is not only a good service level or economical to the consumer, it is also very good for the dairy company to have a direct contact with the customer.
Okay.
So dairy company, they know the customer, they can launch the product by direct contacting the customer, take the direct feedback to identify some key customers and take the any product launch feedback, and have do lot of cross promotion. So this kind of additional things which is not possible because you're blind after you supply to retailer or agent or distributor. So I think this is also very important point from business point of view.
I just wanted to add to this question as an interesting point. So, like that, we have seen quite a bit of milk startups that have kind of come up. So, and we have seen a lot of traditional companies also kind of hedging their bets. I mean, taking some stakes or doing some kind of an investment in those kind of startups. So, is that a grain of thought that you would also consider that by investing in a milk startup, which generally has that ecosystem ready? Because traditionally big companies don't innovate, it's just the small startups guys who innovate better. So instead of looking at acquisition, would Lactalis India invest at least in milk startup?
I tell you very frankly that we always invest in dairy. Dairy means dairy business. This we have never thought that we have to invest in this kind of, where this dairy startup, where it's basically less dairy, more IT. Or more technology, in terms of which is not a kind of technology which is going to procurement or production, we're going to distribution and customer CRM and all this, that kind of this thing. So every company here, sometimes they have their own initiatives to do that, like we also have in terms of because we have about 400 and roughly about 500 our own what you call it, I don't say parlor, it is distribution centers. So in Tirumala is a Tirumala distribution centers, in Anik is Anik distribution center. Prabhat we are now will be launching that. But within Tirumala and Anik we have about 500 this centers, which are basically, I would say that is our small distribution system. I can say that this is also our own startup, where we have established this kind of 500 outlets which are in the marketplaces where the residential colonies and all this thing is there, and this is very properly IT linked. So we know that he's supplying to which retailer and all this thing, and then we organize the inventory inventory maintenance and logistic and all. But I am quite sure that the way you are talking about startup, which are coming very very large numbers, and some of the are very successful also. And the very peculiar thing about these startups are okay, they are kind of startup. We are giving farm milk or A2 milk or organic milk. This is one kind of startup where you are unique in terms of the product. And second types of startups are there in terms of distribution. So people have come with the startup like Super Dairy, which started with the milk. Now your milk is one component, but they started selling everything. Now bakery also is there, grocery, bakery, breakfast item and all. It's very convenient because when I'm a milk consumer from that particular startup, now I got everything. So I become a kind of I don't go to big basket now. I go to this startup because I'm getting milk daily. So I get, so maybe that this is a possibility where we can invest, or we can work with those startup. But I just say that even today this volume is not very large, but in coming future it will be a big proportion. Today it may be 1 or 2%, but in coming future it will be 10% in the next 5 years, just because of the sheer convenience and the advantages what I have shared with you.
Okay. There's one more question from Mr. Mukul Vashisht. He's the director of RR Solutions. He's saying that the current prices, we have seen that receivables have kind of stuck, especially for small. So how can small organizations survive and grow in these kind of current scenario where receivables are hard to come by, especially? So how can a small organization thrive? And you are in your own supply chain kind of deal with lot of those small individual enterprises.
So frankly speaking, we are not at the same level of performance or KPIs before COVID. But normally, the milk business is a cash and carry business. It's a basically cash and carry business, and that is a very basic design of the dairy business, where which I don't know about the how this confectionery items or snacks and other small biscuit, bakery, grocery items, and how the credit takes place. But basically it is a cash and carry, which you see to your buying of milk. It is basically cash and carry, or even somebody is delivering milk at home, you pay after 1 month. Okay, right. But that fellow has to pay on daily basis. Or you go to some shop, you just pay the milk and payment, and then you get the milk. So that's the way it is there. So whatever problems I would say we had, it was a more of a operational problem rather than intention problem, because there was a only fixed timings from 6 to 9 where milk was allowed to distribute. Okay, we distributed the milk, but there is a reverse logistic in milk, where in the morning 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock a person goes to deliver the milk at the shops. In those time maybe shops are not open, the milk crates are just put. You have to understand the peculiarity of the business. And when he finishes the entire distribution from the last shop, he starts collecting the crate as well as money also. The same reverse logic. And wherever he has placed the first crate in the 5 o'clock in the morning, perhaps that time the shopkeeper was not there, and then he comes around 10 o'clock and he gets the money and crates from there. But perhaps because of this COVID situation, restriction, police and all this thing, it was not possible, and people were stopping the plant, the shops and all this thing, restricting the movement. So we had some kind of outstanding dues or receivable problem. But this is as I said, nobody does it intentionally, so maybe you will get it. The only good thing what we are thinking for the future, it has to be I don't know about other industry or other categories, but in milk business still is on cash.
Largely,
okay,
right.
Largely on the cash, and the cash is also with a very small denominator. 10 rupees, 20 rupees, okay, 50 rupees maximum. So this needs to be a kind of improved at a step by step to the digital a digital, the digital platform, where even and digital platform has to start with the consumer. Because if the consumer comes with 10 rupees note or 20 rupees note, what retailer is going to do that? He has to go give it to his distributor, and distributor has to give it to company, or he has to go to the bank, which he doesn't want to go to the bank because he's totally tired with the milk businesses, night 3 o'clock till for him for up to 7-8 o'clock. So he's just so handling cash becomes a problem in the system. So if we are if something can be done where the for milk you have start with from the digital payment right from the consumer seamlessly. I think that will also have a lot of impact on the dues and receivable, because sometimes you have to, when you have to physically collect, then this becomes a problem even in the normal circumstances also sometimes.
Okay. So thank you, sir, for taking time out. It was a really fruitful and engaging discussion, and some very good insights from you. So we really hope that things really turn out well, and it's business as usual, just for everyone. Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Thank you
My
for
pleasure.
taking.